Hey, I'm Jon Thelen. Today on Fish Ed, we're fishing for some midsummer walleyes, and they've slid out of those shallows now. Now they're out into their midsummer haunts, and I don't think there's any better way to catch them than pulling spinners, and that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to show you some tips and tricks that are going to help you catch a few more fish when you're out here doing this, because I'll tell you what, this is some of the funnest fishing you'll do all year. You can see them on the electronics, and they're aggressive and willing to chase a bait. Stay right where you're at. Fish Ed's coming up. Got him. I was just dropping this line down. I just broke one off. Pike hit me. And I was just dropping my line back down and this fish hit it. I'm gonna mark this spot. Because you know what? Once you find a spot where all of a sudden you got a few fish, and even if it was that first one that I just broke off being a pike, but then this is a walleye, what you gotta remember is these fish, they all live together. And they live together because they're feeding together. A pike and a walleye, they don't mind being right next to each other. Yeah, it's a good eye. Great walleye. That should be our first one in the boat if I can finish this deal here. Get our first one today. Ooh, geez. Come here, buddy. Yep, look at that. Great walleye. Spinner fishing to me is one of my favorite ways to fish because, you know what, it's simple. It's simple. Back when I was guiding, I used to like pulling spinners as much as I did bobber fishing because of how simple it can be. But it can be so easy because you can pick an area like I'm fishing and you can get lined up and you can make a nice long pass. And it's really simple because once you get it set up, you can actually go to rod holders like I'm doing today. You can do so many different things to just make it easy for people to catch fish. Look at that. That's a great walleye to start. I'm going to measure him. So we might keep a couple today. Oh, he's a little bit too big. But that's a great way to start our day right there. We'll get him back in the water. He's been out of the water a little longer than I like just because of... Oh, there he goes. He's fine. Just because I had that thing tangled up. But one of the things that I was talking about there is just being able to pick a line and run it. And that's what I'm doing right here. I mean, this is a really, really simple deal. But one of the things I look for in an area where I'm going to pull spinners is I'm not looking for those super, super steep breaks. What I'm looking for is those break lines that have a little bit of a plateau. So when you look at what I'm fishing today, it's a bit of a break here that's a little bit sharp from 20 out to about 24, but then it settles down. But I'm seeing these fish in a spot right here where it flattens out and then it's just a gradual drop. And that's what you want to look for. You want to look for those areas where you can set these bottom bouncers, go down to bottom, find bottom, lift it up just a hair and pull and be able to pull pretty consistently. If you are going up and down a super steep break, man, it's hard to pull spinners. I mean, that just becomes tough. Don't get me wrong, you can do it, but it's a constant adjustment. But if you can find those areas where you get your break, the walleyes like that. They like having something to go up on and then something to fall back down into that's got a plateau or a flat. Then you can set yourself up right in there and then you're only making adjustments of maybe a foot here, a foot there, depending on how it's going, as far as where you put your boat and where you find those fish. That fish right there, he was in 29 feet of water. These fish seem to be set up in that 29, 30, maybe 28. So what we'll do is we'll just work this back and forth all the way down and then it's minor adjustments. But those are the types of spots that you want to look for to pull your spinners in because it makes it really simple to set them and just go. Now today fishing by myself, I just got to worry about one line. So doing it this way, finding these types of spots makes it so that the adjustments are minimal. There's one right there. Oh yeah. Feels like it might be a decent fish. Look at that. Huh. Man, spinners, the other thing about them that I think is so cool is you take a day like today, I don't know how much fish are really going to react today. Ooh, it looks like a good little eater fish. I don't know how much fish are really going to react today to Lindy rigs. And I'll tell you why. everything just seems a little off. And sometimes when everything's a little bit off, what you got to do is put something different down there, a little faster moving stuff. You know, things like what you can do with the spinner rig. And that's what we've done, you know, and that's, you know, it's not fast and furious. I mean, I'll tell you, it's not like I'm catching them crazy fast, but what I am doing is picking away at them. I mean, we're getting a fish here, a fish there. He's not a giant, but he's a 14-inch eater fish, and you know, I have no problem keeping a few of those smaller fish to eat. But I'll tell you, the thing about it is, I don't know if we'd be getting anything if I were just moving super slow, because these fish, when I see them, I mean, they are planted belly on the bottom. There's another one on the screen right now. I mean, they are so tight down belly on the bottom that I just don't know if I'd get them just working super slow, because the reality of it is they're not moving. I've got to give them something to get after. And that's one thing about a spinner. You're bringing live bait over them. You're giving them something that looks fairly natural, and yet you're doing something that gives them a trigger. There he is right there. Got him. Saw these fish on the screen. I just put a waypoint on them because I was pretty confident I was going to get them. I mean, there were 3 or 4 of them there. And one of the things I'll tell you is when you see 3 or 4, holy smokes, you know, I think way more often when you see numbers, you catch one of them. And it's because you create a competition down there, or they create the competition down there. Oh yeah, another eye. That might be a keeper fish too. But all of a sudden there's competition going on down there. And what'll happen is one of those fish will jump up and smack it like this one did before one of his buddies gets to it. And that's exactly what happened here. And that is a perfect keeper size walleye too. Look at that. Man, I'll tell you, ooh, geez, you gotta be careful when you got extra hooks down there, and this guy all of a sudden got going on me. Better off just letting go of him, especially when you know you're gonna keep them anyway. Great fish for the dinner table tonight. We'll pitch him in. Let me explain to you a little bit about what I'm using and how it works, because it's actually really a super simple deal. And I think it's, you know, one of the easiest ways to fish, especially with people that aren't super experienced fishermen, because like I was saying earlier, you can set them and just go at a certain depth. And here, that fish right there, just to give you an example, that one came out of 29 feet of water. I mean, I'm just running that 29, 30 feet. But all I'm using is a Little Joe crawler harness. And I mean, Little Joe crawler harnesses have been around forever, and I'm just putting it behind a bottom bouncer, but they come in a whole variety of colors. I'm using a gold one today. I'm just trying to put all the flash I can down there, especially on a flat day like today. But I'll tell you what, a lot of days on these sunny days, this hammered gold, a chrome, they'll be really dynamite. But what's great about a Little Joe spinner is its durability. And you know, this crawler harness right here, like I said, it's been around forever. It's 2-hook, it's tied, it's ready to go. And I'll tell you what, it's just simple. Tie on that bottom mounter and off you go. Clip it on and you're done. I'm running 1.5 ounce bottom mouncer today, and I'm cruising along at about 1.2 miles, 1.3 miles, somewhere in that neighborhood. But that 1.5 ounce bottom mouncer is getting me back away from the boat a little bit and allowing me to just pull this thing along. And then the other thing I'm doing that I think makes a big difference a lot of days is when I hook up that crawler, I'm then pinching the crawler off. I don't want that big piece of crawler, that big piece of the meat hanging back there behind the hooks, because that's how all of a sudden you don't get fish when they bite. Got him. Right on the turn. Come around that corner, and this boat slowed down to a crawl. And I think a lot of times, walleyes will actually follow a spinner rig, just like they will a crankbait. I think they'll actually follow a spinner rig. And that's what this walleye was most likely doing. He was just cruising along behind it, waiting for that chance. And you know, just waiting to see when the opportunity was gonna come to ambush that bait. And that's what happened there. That all of a sudden he saw his chance and he grabbed it. This is a really good fish too. Let's see if we can finish the deal. We've had a few get off today, and part of that's just, you know, we don't got a lot of wind. It's not a super aggressive day. Ooh, really nice walleye. Look at the size of that one. What a great way to wrap up an awesome day of fishing, man. Let me show you this guy. You can make sure I do this without getting hooked. You know, that's one thing about these crawler harnesses. You get a couple hooks down there and you got to be really, really careful. Let's get him out of here just a sec here. What an awesome fish this is. That's just a great walleye. I can see one of those hooks, so I'm trying to be careful here to not end up with it in me. Let's see here. Let's get him unhooked and I'll show him to you. But you know, this is what you can go do with spinners though. You can just go out and if you just pay attention to a few of the little things we've done today, you can catch a lot of fish. And walleyes like that one, man, no matter what the conditions, when you get to this time of year, you get to those mid-70s and this type of weather, spinners are just deadly. That is a great eye right there. What an awesome day. There he goes.